Welcome back, Sleepyheads, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Sleepy Aliens Perspective. I'm your host, Ashley, and of course, I want to talk about Kanye. Now, I was thinking about this, and I got a psychic vibe from this whole situation, and I have a theory that I want to share. So, as we all know, Kanye's partnerships with Balenciaga, Gap, Adidas, Foot Locker, and JP Morgan, among a few other companies, have ended. And this was all due to the anti-Semitic comments that he made during his Drink Champs interview. Now, what a lot of people may not have noticed is that Kanye is all about the symbolism. And even though he is able to speak freely and expose different things about the industry, like he recently, admitted that his mother was a sacrifice for his fame. And for some reason, there's a lot of people that don't want to believe that or acknowledge that aspect of the entertainment industry. But the truth is, it's very real. It does happen. Much of our society, a majority of our society is run by occultism. And occultism is not only found in the Satanist church, but it's also found in Christianity and traditional native religions and African spiritualism. And all of it, has elements of occultism, and I don't even want to use the word witchcraft, but just alchemy in general, where you're manipulating energy and elements. You can find that in all cultures, all religions, and people don't want to acknowledge that when it comes to Catholicism or Christianity, but both of those heavily use different rituals and practices, whether, it be holy water or, drinking the blood or the grape juice that you get and the cracker, baptisms. But there's just a lot of different things you'll see priests and preachers do that could mirror what, you would say a witch or someone within the occult is doing. And that's just a truth that for some reason society doesn't want to acknowledge still. And I don't understand it, because to me it's very obvious. And at this point, it's nothing to be ashamed of. But I think the illusion spell of what is good and bad, frequently finds that both parties, it's the pot calling the kettle black, right? And for some reason, neither institutions really want to take any responsibility or be open about that fact, But if you think about the three wise men, they followed the stars, which is astrology, and they were advised by a prophet to take their journey, and a prophet can be seen as a psychic, right? And if you think about preachers, they meditate on their sermons, they channel, they speak to God, so they're channeling a spirit, right? It's the same thing that a psychic does, but for some reason it's demonic if a psychic does it. So there's just a lot of hypocrisy involved in that. But I had to mention that because the fact that, Kanye is exposing the fact that sacrifices in the industry do happen, and he mentioned Michael Jordan's dad and Dr. Dre's son as well, and there's so many more.
Mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah, I'm appreciate
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. Out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing.
Not only is that really brave, but, I think Kanye he knows exactly what he's doing. But here are some different perspectives of what his intentions are right now. So Kanye could be, from the most three-dimensional perspective, having a manic episode, and he's just creating chaos, he's lashing out, he's angry, he feels like he has nothing to lose. So he's saying all these things and he's upsetting all the people. So he's just in this state of creating chaos. So that's one perspective. Another perspective is that he is truly trying to repent for his involvement in the occultism and the entertainment industry and the things that he's seen and done. And so he is, maybe he does see that he has nothing to lose. So he is okay exposing, what goes on in the industry, and he wants to tell the truth, and he wants to enlighten people and expose those things. And maybe that's his way of gaining that spiritual and social redemption for, the illusion that he has helped create, not only in terms of his career, but, the industry in general. So that's one perspective. He is trying to be the new social savior. Another perspective is that Kanye, speaking out, he knew that him saying all those things was going to piss off those billion-dollar companies and ruin his partnerships, and that would then give him this story to which he needs to reestablish his financial, fashion, and entertainment empire. But this time it would be without the help of the white man, and he would show these billion-dollar companies and these executives how much social power he has and that he's more powerful than them. So him reestablishing, his brands and regaining social favor, that could be a whole pathway for him to gain that redemption, but also accomplish his true goal, which is, to be that fashion house brand. But he doesn't have any of those ties. It's just Kanye. It's just his work, and he doesn't need any of, the white man's hands to propel him up. So that's another perspective. But here's my theory. So in Kanye's Drink Champs interview, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but he was wearing a hat that said 2024. Now, what's going to be happening in 2024? That's the next presidential election. And Kanye in the past has already said, and he's already tried to run for president. The last time he was a little late, but this time he wants to be on time. So now, him creating this chaos, spilling these truths, exposing what happens in the industry, he is not only gaining social and spiritual redemption, but he is gaining a larger following because he's saying the things that other celebrities, other politicians don't want to say. And I want to bring this up too because you guys remember in, I think it was 2016, when Kanye met up with Trump and he had the Make America Great Again hat on, and Kanye looked so happy and giddy, and so many people focused on the fact that Trump was, this alleged racist and standing for all of these negative things. And I only say alleged because, I don't want to get sued, but we all know that it's true. So people just really did not like the fact that Kanye was showing his support for Trump. But here's what we weren't thinking about. Kanye saw himself in Trump. He saw this man that was not a part of the establishment, that came from a celebrity status, that was known for saying outlandish things, being blunt and honest, and that's how he gained his social favorability. And Kanye, that's how he's gained a lot of his social favorability. He's gotten used to the fact that people will tune in and watch his interviews just to see what he's going to say, that he has that much social control. So what he saw in Trump was the fact that somebody like that made it into office, and it gave him the inspiration and the motivation to take on that journey as well. So him meeting Trump was like him seeing his future. And I think what Kanye is doing and exposing the industry and all the things that are happening, and the fact that he has broken away from these billionaire corporate ties, it brings him back down to a level to which people can see and they'll think, well, man, there's another broken man who's been beat down by corporate America, capitalism, racism, the industry, and politicians and the media. And when he goes to run for president, this will be his race for redemption. And that's why he wore that 2024 hat, because this is all a part of his plan. Or if this is truly his plan, or the people that control him. Because what did he say? He said all celebrities are controlled.
But come to find out, he was actually Canadian intelligence, but this is my trainer. So this shows you the kind of handlers that are around the superstars in California, right? So it says, I'm going to help you one of a couple ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words. And everything that is discussed is based in fact, and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you, or you saw in a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. This is the way a Hollywood trainer was talking to me to force me to go and like apologize, right? But
and we've had plenty of evidence to believe that Kanye's brain has been jumbled with some mind control.
And nobody's more afraid than people in Hollywood. They're afraid that they'll drop out of the top, they're afraid that they'll drop from the bottom of the pyramid, maybe to the middle of the pyramid. But they're the ones. Hollywood is the one that keeps all this power structure and all this culture of racism and sexism and classism and genderism and all of it in place. They continually feed it, and they make a lot of money doing it, and they do it at the behest of their masters who run everything. So, they're not going to get brave enough to do that. I mean, I think that there aren't many of us who are brave enough to do that. And I'm just, I'm lucky that I can do it, and I feel that I do it on behalf of many people in Hollywood too. I go to Hollywood parties, or occasionally I go to Oscar parties and things like that. And people, big stars, people will grab me by the arm and take me aside and say, I just want to thank you for the things you say. And it blows my mind, but that's the culture. It's a culture of fear for sure. And it's a big culture of mind control too. MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood. If you don't know, Google that and look into it.
Well, yeah. I just want to talk about mind control. When people try to influence you through social media and try to tell you what to do, or if you post something that's like positive on Instagram and it gets taken down, if it's not a part of a bigger agenda, that's like mind control. That's the echo chamber that's trying to control you based off of incentivizing you and based off of you getting enough likes. And that's the poison that's happening, like straight up Sigmund Freud, Tesla vibes. And the worst thing, the way I feel like when people try to tell me what to do, I feel like they're touching my brain. Like for a woman, she doesn't want she wants to be in control of her body and choose who she wants to give it to. And no one can come up and touch it or take it or tell her what to do with it. It's up to her what she does with it. So I feel like that with my mind. Like it's all these people, black people, like people on social media, people trying to control us and say that we make us all monolithic thought. And they're trying to control our mind. They're trying to control my mind. And when someone tries to tell me what to do, tries to tell me what I can wear and not wear, I feel like they're touching my brain. Imagine you like cut your like skull open and somebody like touch your brain with their hand. How that would hurt you. That's how it hurts me when people try to tell me what to do when I'm going from my heart and like, you know, try to tell me what to say. This ain't programmed. Or try to tell me I'm not talking clear enough. Like I don't clear. I say we doing. Like I've forgotten how to talk not clear because I'm so programmed to talk clear, to sound so proper. That gets in the way of how we really feel. You know, we think so much. You know, you got to just question, like, when people get on TV shows and, you know, who all are they doing business with? What are they connected to? What's their agenda? You got people holding other people down. They want y'all all to be, you know, just mind control. It's like a modern day psychological, like Ayn Rand control thing.
And I think his mental health is just a side effect of that mind control. And if you don't want to acknowledge that, remember when all of those MK Ultra victims sued the government and won in 1992, a lot of them were suing because of the mental health impacts of the mind control experiments.
I was sent to the Allen, which was the psychiatric ward of the Royal Vic. Every time I had the nitrous oxide, I felt like I was spinning into spinning without faster and faster, and I always thought, is this how it feels to die? And I never knew if I'd ever come out of it. And it really, I didn't like it. It really left me feeling very, very angry and very depressed afterward. And I didn't like all the pills that I was taking. I couldn't swallow them with water because they were always afraid that I wouldn't keep them down. So a nurse was always watching me until I swallowed them.
What can you... I was drugged the fuck out, bro. I was drugged out. I was on opioids. 2 days after I got off of opioids, and I was addicted to opioids, 2 days I got off of opioids, I'm in the hospital, right? I'm taking hey, everyone listen to this, please. 2 days before I was in the hospital, I was on opioids. I was addicted to opioids. I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat like y'all called Rob at the wedding and made him fly home before me and Kim got married. I didn't want y'all to call me fat, so I got liposuction, right? And they gave me opioids, right? And I started taking 2 of them and then driving to work on the opioids, right? Then my boy, and I'd always ask my boy, you know, to hand me if it's, you know, we on tour, give me some weed, blah, blah, blah. So he had to go give me the opioids. And there was talks amongst my camp, like Ye's popping pills, right? So when he handed this to me, he said, you know, this is used to kill genius, right? So I didn't take it. 2 days later, I'm in the hospital. I was taking 2 pills a day at that time. When I left the hospital, how many pills you think I was given? 7. I went from taking 2 pills to taking 7. So the reason why I denounced, why I dropped those tweets and everything, because I was drugged the fuck out, bro. And I'm not drugged out. These pills that they want me to take 3 of a day, I take 1 a week, maybe 2 a week. Y'all had me scared of myself, of my vision. So I took some pills so I wouldn't go to hospital and prove everyone right. We are drugged out. We are following other people's opinions. We are controlled by the media. And today it all changes.
Now, the fact that Kanye was, you know, stressed and struggling and fighting to get his art out there in the beginning of his career, that can do a lot to somebody's mental health. And as an artist, you know, artists are prone to depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, all of that can be attributed to an artist in their career, because you deal with so many ups and downs and so many things are unpredictable, and you're constantly facing rejection, and you don't want to be liked by people, but you need them to like you to some degree. So there's a lot of pressure that is put on an artist internally and socially. If you guys have not seen my 3-part special, Yay's Not Crazy, do go and check that out, because I talk a lot about artists and mental health issues, statistics, but I also go into the spiritual phenomenon of what happens when an artist creates. And I talk a lot about my theories surrounding creative consciousness expansion, and how this is a mental, physical, and spiritual phenomenon in which we are using the fundamental forces of this universe, our spiritual energy, our electromagnetic fields, our auric fields. All of those are working together when an artist is in a creative state, and it brings them into higher dimensions of life and of awareness. And that is how an artist is able to connect and channel information and bring new ideas into our third dimension. I also discuss how during this process, artists are opening up new energy channels that allow them to breach these new ideas and new levels of communication, and how those channels often expose their energy field to outside forces in the spirit realm and higher dimensions. And when they cannot handle all of those open energy channels, they often will have a confusion of their energy. And mental illness is disorders of the mind, disorders of energy, disorders of confusion. I mean, it's really all the same, but these are how these spiral. And when those energies come to a third dimensional level and manifest in a third dimensional way, that's when we see them with these behaviors or these addictions or patterns or whatever it may be. They have opened up their energy field and they're overexposed, and things are getting in and energy isn't being released. It's a huge process, but do go and check out those videos. I think you guys will enjoy it, but I just wanted to touch on that briefly. But aside from that, I believe a lot of Kanye's mental health issues stems from the mind control, the occultism rituals that he's been involved in, and I think even to his generational and spiritual ties as well. So here's my theory on Kanye's presidential bid for 2024, his relationship with Trump, how he will be used by the higher powers that be, and what will become of the American society. Do people need more than the lies and the confusion and the Republican and Democrat tit for tat games? They just want truth and honest answers. So I do think a lot of people will follow Kanye. But here's something else that we have to think about, because like Kanye said, he and all celebrities are controlled. And if you look at that hat that he was wearing in that Drink Champs interview, it was black and white, duality colors. And a lot of people don't want to believe in the Illuminati, but if you don't want to believe in the Illuminati, at least believe in Freemasons. At least believe in this organization that has been around since the 1700s and that has been orchestrating different political, warfare, social, entertainment events throughout history. This has been long established, and they have infiltrated, all governments on this planet. And they operate in secrecy and loyalty, and a massive amount of occultism is tied into their practices. And a lot of people just think it's just celebrities and billionaires, But no, it's, the lawyers in your state, it's the doctors, it's anybody who has some sort of social favorability and control over how things operate. It's, your police departments, it could be your fire departments. You just really don't know. The point of the Freemason Brotherhood is that if they need someone to help them orchestrate something, whether it's a doctor or a mortician or a lawyer, they want to make sure that they have somebody in place in as many areas as possible to help them orchestrate this plan or event that they have laid out, right? That is the point of the Brotherhood. And there are many levels to Freemasonry. It's crazy. I was just at work the other day, and this older guy, and I think he had a British accent, comes through my line, but he spoke really soft. And he was just wearing like a black hoodie. But on there, I saw like the Freemason symbol. And so I was like, "Oh, are you a Mason?" And he was like, "Yes, I am." And that was literally the end of that conversation. Because all I could say was, "Okay, well, there's one." And he was just sporting a hoodie, But I think what we're going to start seeing is that they're going to just be more out and loud about it, because clearly so many people are still under this illusion that, not only does the Illuminati not exist and that Freemasons are just, they're just a lodge gathering, it's just a brotherhood, it's just like a fraternity or a sorority. I think that's the extent that they see it, but it goes so much deeper. And every member of the Freemasons, they are pledging their allegiance to, not only assist and propel the organization, but help them carry out different events in our society and to maintain a certain level of control in our society. And as long as they do that, they will continue to receive opportunities and assistance when they get into trouble, whether that be legal or social, whatever it may be. And they will always, they will be guaranteed to have a certain amount of wealth as well. But I think the dangerous part about Kanye, when he runs for president, if he becomes president, is the fact that, one, he could be used to disrupt our political system in the same way that Trump did, but this will be to an entirely new degree. I think it could dismantle everything. And if you know anything about the New World Order, like, that would be the next step, right? If you just make that much of a mockery of our political system. But I think, too, Kanye could lead a lot of people into a false sense of freedom. So Kanye could expose everything and reshape our society. And if he does win, he could gain power over industries, politics, and all of these billionaire corporations, and that could be like his ultimate fuck you. I think that's his ultimate goal, in the same way that Trump was this, he was just looked at like a TV character, and people, thought he was a bad businessman, and they thought very little of the fact that he could actually become president. And in many ways, he proved people wrong. And again, I'm not a Trump fan, but we're just speaking facts here. He absolutely did surprise most people in this country and many people around the world, right? So I think Kanye wants that same effect, but he has so much social influence over the youth. And, while he may be, having anti-Semitic rants and, speaking ill of different people, he is also exposing the truth. And I'm grateful for that, because most celebrities are too afraid to admit these things. I also had another thought about Kanye's intentions with his anti-Semitic comments and his rants, and now we know that he's just recently given some character compliments to Hitler. So what I was thinking is that Kanye is trying to establish his voter audience. So he already knows that he has the youth, his die-hard music fans, the people that still support his fashions and really do respect him when he goes onto different platforms and speaks. But I think he's also collecting the far-right voters. He is also trying to align with the extremists, those really socially rebellious groups in our society that can relate to Kanye in the way that he seems to work in opposition with institutions and industries. And I think not only will they like that about him, but they'll see some form of possibility and of political change in Kanye. And I think he did this with the same intention that he had when he wore the White Lives Matter shirt. And, standing next to Candace Owens, who we all know where her political stances are. And I think that too was him broadening his supporters and his future votes. And I think he is doing this in the same way that Trump went after the evangelical voters. And if you guys have not seen that documentary, God Forbid, which is about Jerry and Becky Falwell, who, ran a evangelical college institution, and they had really deep ties within the evangelical community, but also insane political ties. And the documentary is about a pool boy they have an affair with, and it's just a crazy story, but it really does show you how networking bridges can help orchestrate huge impacts in our political, social, and systems in society. But I think that is what we're seeing from Kanye right now. And him taking these anti-Semitic stances is his way of not only, gaining that audience, but building his future voters and the people who will show up to hear his speeches and the various well, who knows what he'll say, because Kanye's honesty is very lethal and he makes no excuse. What we're seeing from Kanye is the same outlandish, commentary that we saw from Trump before the election and after the election, where the more ridiculous and offensive things they could say, the more attention they got. And they used that attention to reestablish the platform for whatever they were trying to vocalize or express. Because despite the fact that you say crazy and offensive things, people are going to be tuned in and their ears are going to be open because, they come in with the intention of wanting to know what other crazy stuff is this person about to say. But now you're actually, speaking on social issues and stating your opinion, and people are still waiting for you to say that crazy thing, but you're holding their attention for, 19, 20 minutes. I mean, Kanye's interviews go up to an hour and a half, 2 hours, on these platforms that he appears on. And, Trump had that same effect where people were just stunned by what he would say. So he uses that element of surprise and offense to garner, attention, but also to establish his platform. And I think that's just something that we have to be aware of when it comes to Kanye. And that's why I say he's very smart. He knows what he's doing. And even though he's saying these offensive things that are anti-Semitic, he also knows that they are serving a purpose to help him along his plan or to reestablish his platform and to gain that social power and influence that he desires. And I also believe that Trump and Kanye share the same inferiority complex, and that's why they also relate and get along so well. I think both of them have been, I think neither of them have been taken seriously or fully respected in their immediate social circles, and both, have been fighting to show that they are powerful, that they are intelligent, that they should be respected, that they should be valued. We've seen both men use beautiful women to up their status. We have seen both men use their children to up their status and likability. We've seen both cling to the material world and riches to, enter different social circles and to gain that sense of notoriety and to be liked by as many people as possible. We've seen both go into depth about, their accomplishments and why they should be viewed a certain way. But really, all of it is, this is our spiritual lesson here from Trump. It's because you haven't healed it on the inside, and you're the only person you need to prove that to. And these breakdowns that we see Kanye have, it's not only his struggle to realign with his consciousness and subconscious and stay in the light of truth and in the light of God, but we're also seeing him struggle to truly love and accept himself and to know that he does not need to be the richest man, and his calling is not to uplift the black race and open doors for black people, because at this point it's all driven on his own intentions and his own desires. So no matter what he wants to say about liberating the people and speaking truth, if he really wanted to do that, he would sit down, and tell the public exactly what goes on in the industry, all the things he did to maintain his fame, and he wouldn't, there wouldn't be this game about it where I'll give you a little bit here and a little bit there to hold our attention and to keep us locked in on what he's doing. I think we are all a part of his master plan to heal his sense of self, and we were all a part of Trump's master plan to do that as well.
With social media, and for me, I just got back my IQ scores and they were Mensa level, 133, 98 percentile.
Called Trump an intellectual. Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm a person that very strongly believes in academics.
And I believe, of course, this is all pieces on the Illuminati chessboard, and they are prepping us and grooming us for the chaos of 2024 and the antics and the commentary, everything that Kanye is doing right now, and it's only going to snowball from here. And if people are thinking, oh my God, an anti-Semitic cannot become president, someone who has caused workplace harassment cannot become president, we have to remember that Trump, he had a history of being racist. He had a history of sexual assault allegations and sexual misconduct. Those were all known things, and he was even tied to a serial predator. So no, our country is not above that. And I believe in 2024, Kanye becoming our next president will prove that. And I'm not saying I'm happy about this. I think I've let go of the fact that, yes, local elections matter, but presidential elections, no. These people who go into office are handpicked, and they are picked for a reason beyond the public's control.
And if this leads to Ye's downfall or him being thrown into prison or some psychiatric hospital, who knows how, things will unravel for him. But I think in his mind, at this point, he's still a man who has nothing to lose. So why the fuck not, right? But again, you heard it here first. Do let me know, sleepyheads, what you think about this in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Other than that, sleepyheads, have a good night. And remember that if the media is labeling somebody as crazy, erratic, irrational, dangerous, you need to remember to establish that opinion for yourself, because we don't know the whole story, and we may die and leave this earth without fully knowing the whole story. Talk again soon.